friends, good day. We start our event and we are very glad to welcome you, dear partners, journalists, participants. Today we are presenting first in Ukraine program of sport ambassadors. The main goal of this program is to community of veterans, leaders of the veteran communities, and who will involve other veterans into sport activities as one of the most effective tools for rehabilitation and socializations of veterans when they're returning to the civilian life. And today our format will be very traditional. First we will have speakers, and then we will have presentations from the ambassadors, which are with their programs that ready to be implemented in their communities. And for those who are joining us in online, please ask your questions in the comments on the YouTube channels of Ukrinform, and all your questions will be given to the moderators, and they will forward them to the speakers. And after the sessions, press session, we will have a brief general photo. And I would like to introduce speakers of our presentations. Ihor Bezkaravainyi, Deputy Minister of Veteran Affairs, Shpuk, representatives of the Save Life Charity Fund, Oksana, Horbach, coordinator of Invictus Games in Ukraine, representatives of our partners, without whom this project would be grateful to them, from representatives from the Embassy of United States of Ukraine, and we will have director of IREX Ukraine, Olga Prokhorova. After that, our sport ambassador Igor Halushka, Volodymyr, Musyak, Vasyl, Stuzhenko, Pavlo, Kovalskyi, Artem, Lukashuk, and will present their projects. And we will start from introducing who are the sport ambassadors and how they will be different from veterans who are just doing sport activities. And I pass the floor to Deputy Minister of Veteran Affairs, Mr. Bezkaravainyi. Good day, dear friends. Thank you, Svetlana. Ministry of Veteran Affairs and generally sees its aim is to reintegrate of veterans, of former military servicemen, from bringing them back from war, both mentally and physically. The reintegration into civilian society, and this the main task and the goal of our activities. And we are trying to do our best to implement those policies in Ukraine. And sport is one of the very one of the useful tools of recovery of veterans into civilian life. And for me personally, this type of recovery was one of the best. And going back to the goals and aims of our ministry's activities, we are trying to implement systematic changes. And when we talk about sport events and involving veterans in them, we cannot say only about single case events. When we're trying to help a veteran to prepare to a certain competition and change certain type of mindset, and we cannot stop helping to the veteran after the competition ended. We need to develop certain programs that will work after the competition ended and after the training sessions had been finished, and in order to enable veteran continue their active life in certain areas of social life. And one of the programs that will help them to be involved is the program of sport ambassadors, and we hope this initiative will be systematic. And because after competitions had been ended, there should be an goal for the veteran to continue pursuing his activities in sports, and we want to bring as much veterans as possible into sports and to develop sport communities among veterans. And sport ambassadors can be an example, an inspiring example to other veterans to start or to at least try themselves in this type of activity. And just to say, as a final word, we're trying to have our projects to be systematic, and sport ambassadors is one of such projects that we see will have a continuous future, and the examples that our veterans showing us now will inspire more and more people with military background to join this program and to be a part of this cohort. And I hope that at next national competitions we will see more and more veterans participating in this. I know that this year we had 260 veterans registered, and we think that we can have thousands of registered veterans for this type of activities. Thank you. Thank you, Igor. We're very pleased to hear these words from Igor, because he's an active sportsman and he's actively participating in Invictus Warrior Games. And when the policy of the Ministry of Veteran Affairs is defined by the people who are already active in sports, that's a great example. And with regards to the program itself, I pass the floor to Shpuk, and he will speak a little bit more about the program itself and what trainings ambassadors undergo and what's the future of the program. Good day to everyone. I'm very glad to see you, and our presentation is on the screen. The program of Sport Ambassadors is a project based on the Invictus Games Team Ukraine. Let's speak a little bit more about the history of the project, and but also, first of all, I would like to introduce our partners and co-organizers. Our project has been developing with two co-founders, Fund Save Life and StratCom, and also a great contribution was made by the Embassy of the United States of America, Ministry of Veteran Affairs, and IREX. These are three our major partners who helped us financially to implement this project. Brief history of the project. The project was introduced from the experience of the United States. We had a visit of the national team of Wounded Warriors Air Force, and some of the members of that team were sports ambassadors, and we and our friends from StratCom saw that that's a great example, and we tried to implement that in Ukraine. In Ukraine, we had nothing, no previous programs to think about and to start from, and so we drew our own program from scratch. After starting the experience of United States, we understood that this is one of the most productive programs, and it would be great to have it in Ukraine. And that's how we created project Sport Ambassadors. The goal of our project is to start development of the communities of leader veterans in local communities that will their own example will inspire other veterans to go in for sports and pursue a healthy lifestyle. This is our goal, and then we thought about who would be the the example, ideal ambassador. And when we were writing our project, we thought about following values. He's ready to do public activities. He's doing certain type of sports, and he's energetic personality and socially integrated. And he's open to everything new. And the very important piece is of values is knowledge of English language, because majority of the training materials we took from United States and other English-speaking countries. That's why English language knowledge is a priority. Who is our target audience? We're talking about veterans from all defense forces and from the volunteers units of Ukraine. And for me, this is very important. What is the format of the project? It's a comprehensive program of personal and professional training on psychology, sport, leadership, mentorship, public activities, and coaching. This program was conducted during 8-10 days in offline, and a lot of online activities were conducted with our coaches, and we had almost 4 months of practical phase, and the final stage of the program was TOT course, triple T course during 3 days. What is the structure of the program? So we started from trainings, the course on the public public talks, working with psychology, and we had practical tasks. The floor to Oksana, and she will tell more about that. The very first and the very important course of storytelling and public talks. This is one of most crucial stages, because ambassador should be able to present himself, to deliver his story, to know how to formulate his thoughts and how to motivate other veterans. You cannot just drag someone into sport if you cannot motivate person with a word. That's why this course and stage was very important, and Timur Berezhny, who is pictures on the screen, did a lot of offline and online work with our team of veterans, and the final goal was to for each ambassador would be to prepare a public speech about himself. And then we will present our psychologist of Invictus Games Ukraine. He's a legendary person and coach, and he started as a psychologist in groups. And when they conducted his training, they spoke about how estimating readiness to be an ambassador. If does ambassador ready to take this responsibility, and he did a lot of work with our national team and our ambassadors, and those who finished our training, they are now 100% sure that they're ready to be involved in this. Next course of initial psychological help, because ambassador should understand that veteran who is coming to him and with whom he will work, he can be in different psychological station, and he should know the basics of psychological help, and if such a veteran will need certain psychological assistance. And that course was very important for the training. Mentorship course, personal brand of ambassador. public talks, speeches, and this course was conducted by Alexander Sudarkin, director of MBA program and MIM Business School. And he is a very good mentor. And here our participants tried to initiate their public brand and also practice their skills in public talks. Very good training that was initiated offline and then continued online. And that was, and the next step was a leadership course, because ambassador is a leader, and leadership course was conducted by Ms. Natalia Krivda, director of MBA program of Edinburgh Business School. And here our ambassadors learned theory of leadership, transformational leadership, leadership as a servant leadership, and distributed leadership. And the final stage of that course was delivering each ambassador's program before the audience. And I can mention that our team did very well on those final phases. And after that, there was a big practice part of that course. And another module that I consider very important for our ambassadors, we spoke about adaptive sports. We introduced Darren Williams. He's a coach to the USA Invictus teams on rowing, if I'm not mistaken. And he came to us and directly helped to our national team. And we had an idea to invite him to deliver a lecture on adaptive sports. In our opinion, sports ambassadors should have not only basic but more profound knowledges about adaptive sports to understand when veteran is inquiring about sports he can take, he should understand what can be offered to Ukrainian veteran. And that's why this lecture was very important in our course. And the last course of the training was the training course, which was delivered by Maria Yaremchuk, quite a lengthy course where the ambassadors were able to prepare their own training program. But before that, we had a very extensive practice phase. Our practical phase consisted of a number of phases. First was about increased participation in the communities where our ambassadors are living. We started our program during the pandemic, and that's why a lot of trainings were conducted online. But what we had to understand, how we can involve participants from remote parts of the communities into participating into the program. And thanks to our sports ambassadors in certain communities, we were able basically to conduct such events. And for example, in Volodymyr Musyak in Poltava Oblast, he called to all participants in that oblast, and he organized their participation. Kryvyi Rih, all community within one day was able to conduct online competitions for everyone who were registered for participation. Ihor Halushka helped to participants in those who participate in rowing on indoors. And also during such processes. We had certain training camps where our ambassadors were working in hospitals with those veterans who are still wounded or injured and under a process of hospital rehabilitation, but they were able to come and see how the competitions going on. Online competition had more than 60 participants from 15 oblasts. Our online broadcasting was viewed by more than 50,000 people. A lot of known figures of Ukraine participated in as an audience and introduced those competitions. Second practical component of this program was on about public talks. We created new fort studio Invictus, where each participant was able to deliver individual interview and tell about his personal story. Within that format, our ambassadors trained how they would tell their personal story in order to increase involvement of the audience. And we had more than 295,000 of views for those programs.
Успішність. У нас загалом по проекту 257 публікацій.
This project had very good media coverage, and we were publicized also in major national mass media and in international mass media, and also we had more than 80,000 views of our training module materials. And the third component are about the sport projects that our sport ambassadors developed and that which they today will be presenting. These are the projects that they will be dealing on in their own communities. And here we will see the list of the projects from our sport ambassadors, quite a few of them. For example, rowing competitions for veterans and their family members, support of the football teams in Cherkasy, training gym for the veterans, projects Kryvyi Rih, all Ukrainian skydiving competitions for the veterans, swimming competitions for wounded veterans, and regional competition on table tennis, futsal championship for wounded veterans. These are all events that are planned to be conducted in Kryvyi Rih. Emotions of Invictus for the competition, hiking in mountains for wheeled veterans. These are all projects that veterans are ready to undertake in their communities. For all these projects, we are looking for financial support. Partially, they're funded by the Invictus Fund, who started this year grant programs, but of course, unfortunately, those funding will not be sufficient to fund all projects, and we can say that all these projects are worthy of the attention of the donors to be supported. We see that we are quite good represented by regions. We covering western part of Ukraine and central and eastern parts of Oblast of Ukraine. Today we are planning to present, and our sport ambassadors will present their sports that I already initially mentioned, and you will hear the stories and the projects they would like to implement. Thank you, Oksana. You all now see how ambitious and how useful this project will be, and that's why we want to say thank you to the partners who made possible implementation of this project, because of the interest and support to our ideas, and we are glad to pass the floor to the Embassy of the United States, and I introduce Scott Whitmore, assistant of I will be speak in English.
And representing ministry, and of course, Oksana. Should I pause for? Sorry. Should I pause? Oh, just coming through the. Sorry about that.
You could speak in English, and then I will be translating.
So I just wanted to thank Oksana for inviting us here to participate in this conference, and of course the sports ambassadors that are here to share their stories. I'm actually very hearing what effort is going on in their local communities. Is that there's so many connections with the United States. Hope that we can continue those with ministry, with Oksana, with partners in this program. The only other thing I just wanted to say was what I find very inspiring about this is how service members into their local communities. And how that is an inspiration for us, because in the United States, we very much value the role that are contributed to our society, and it's very that happening here. I just on the our partnership.
Дякую, Скотте. Ми перепрошуємо за технічні складнощі. Зараз ми вирішуємо. Будь ласка, технічна.
We had some technical difficulties with the delay in the sound, and now I invite Ms. Olga Prokhorova, Director of IREX Ukraine. She will be joining us via Zoom. Ms. Olga, dear Deputy Minister, dear colleagues and participants of the program, good day to everyone. I'm very delighted to represent programs of veterans reintegrations, who is a part of the package of support to Ukraine from USA. A couple of words about IREX. IREX is international non-profit organization with its HQ in Washington, and we support the activities in more than 100 countries, and we work in Ukraine since 1995. Within the program of veterans reintegration, we conduct surveys about the challenges which veterans have in civilian life, and then we use the information that we collected to take measures to better integrate veterans after they finish their service. The areas where we work is extending access to the psychological support for veterans, increased possibilities for increased job opportunities for veterans, and supporting those NGOs who are already working successfully with veterans. One of such NGOs is Save Life charity fund, and we are very proud to be partners for all programs on reintegrations of veterans, who are solving not only current problems but can provide sustainable support to veterans. And Sports Ambassadors is one of such programs. Here we are combining sport as it is and sports rehabilitation and leadership and mentorship and even public speaking skills and a lot of other aspects that make this program comprehensive and deliverable. And I wish all the best to the participants of the program, and in order to achieve all their all the goals, and to the team who are working on this program, I wish a lot of thanks and a lot of and thank you, Miss Olga. And now I'm very pleased to announce the part of our press conference, which is the presentation of the projects of our ambassadors, and which our ambassadors are ready to implement in their communities. Dear sports ambassadors, I would like to remind that each ambassador has 4 minutes for his presentation. And now I would like to invite Volodymyr Musyak. He's a veteran of the volunteer military unit, who will be presenting his project, sport rehabilitation community in city Kalytiuk. I'm as an ambassador, I am head of the veteran organization. Our project I will call very ambitious, because initially I wanted to make it as a sport gym for wounded veterans. But then I thought that not only wounded veterans need reintegration into the society. I extended the goals of my project to the introducing sport activities for the veterans and for their family members. And I understood that veterans' life doesn't end when he finished his service in the military, and after that, you veterans should participate actively in the social life of their communities, and that's why I wanted to introduce our activities also to the children who are living in orphanages. And also we know that we have a lot of very few possibilities for sport opportunities for people with disabilities, and thanks to the Invictus Games Fund, we were able to arrange for the procurement of the necessary sport equipment for our gym. And now we finalized the negotiations with the local authorities about providing us with the premises for the gym. We are on the final stage of receiving these premises in lease and only thing which is left is to prepare the premises to be ready to bring up sport equipment. But we can do it ourselves with our veterans teams in the community. And for me, it's important that sport bring up strengthening our community. I pass the floor to Vasyl Stuzhenko. He's the veteran of Armed Forces of Ukraine from Kryvyi Rih. What he's ready to project he's ready to introduce: national competition, Invictus game, skydiving for veterans, table tennis championships for veterans. My name is Vasyl. I'm from Kryvyi Rih. I'm head of the Veterans Association and Invictus game. And what our team worked together together with Maxim Kolesnikov Gordeev, we developed this number of events. Yes, it's a great when you're working in a team, and it's in Kryvyi Rih we work as a one team on number of projects. All from the first very first in Invictus game activities, and that's why everyone knows what problems we are facing in communities. But as ambassadors, we also should work as on the level of Federation of Veteran Sports on about the funding for the sports for people with disabilities, and we need to talk about those issues, and that can be also a direct task for ambassadors. We can speak a lot about Kryvyi Rih. We're very grateful to the local authorities. We received in full financing from them. We're grateful to Kryvyi Rih Oblast administration that helped us with the fuel. We have team members who will go to competitions to US, but what I would like to see that the city mayors to compete on who will have the best Invictus team in his city, in his district, although I would like to see that there was more interest from the highest leadership of the country to this type of games, and we should also raise those issues, and this will be a part of our activities to bring attention to our activities and games on all levels. Thank you, Vasyl and Mykola. Thank you for your active life position. And now I'm inviting Artem Lukashuk. He is a veteran from Armed Forces of Ukraine, and he's from Cherkasy. The project that he will implement the first Cherkasy team of veterans and development of football, of veteran football. I'm Artem Lukashuk. I'm veteran. I was in 25th Brigade, and I'm head of the veterans organization in Cherkasy, and I'm also in charge of sports development for veterans in Cherkasy Oblast. Our project was born when I saw that a lot of our veterans were eager to play football. Maybe some of us dreamed about playing football professionally, but life situations made its changes. But not a lot of us pursued it. But we decided to set up a team, and our team already successfully won 6 games. I see how the guys who are playing, how their wins motivate them, because it builds up team spirit, and you helping to trying to help to all the team members. We have our main team, and we want also to do the secondary team for guys who not to have only like 30 but 60 and more people to be playing, to be capable to participate in the team. And I'm very glad to the local authorities who providing us stadiums to play there and to conduct championship. I want to say that we maybe extend the area of our participation in championship to invite teams from US, from UK to conduct international championship. To even if we will help only to one veteran, it will mean a lot, and it means that we achieved our goal. And together we will develop the sport ambassadors in Ukraine. Thank you, Artem. Our next speaker is Pavlo Kovalskyi. He is from Lutsk, and his project is bow championship for veterans, futsal championship, for wounded and injured veterans, and also for IDPs and children and young people in Western Ukraine. Thank you very much, because it's kind of a start point and a finalizing point of our trainings. And I want to say about what we already done to conduct those projects. So we already arranged for a futsal championship in 2021, and we will bring 141 veterans. It will be eight teams, 10 veterans in each team, those who were serving in defense forces, and also teams from the families of the veterans, and also there will be teams from the children's teams, and we will be glad to introduce other teams from not only from the Lutsk and the Volyn Oblast. We have a lot of experience in participating in Invictus games, and we took how their events were conducted as an example and maybe modified it to our regional situation.
Why is the first question? Usually we say that why sport? Sport is difficult. Sport is something that is very usual. But for me, sport is one of the easiest ways for rehabilitation and resocialization and reintegration of veterans, any veterans, not only wounded. And for a certain time, I learned how society, who was not very much understanding the issues of veterans, how they see the wounded veteran image. Usually they understand veterans, they're in hospitals, they're poor guys who need treatment, and maybe somewhere people see them on how they participate in certain competitions. The veteran who already socialized, who has medals, who won some championship. He is like for example, guys from our national teams. The guys in the national team, they're representing our country, but very few people understand how they achieve those goals and what was the effort of the veteran. And my goal is to change the perception of the veteran, of the wounded warrior among our society. What will be the path of that veteran to that success? And I decided to start from things that I can do, photography, how to show in photographies how person is changed, how the person's morale changes during the process of rehabilitation. When I come to the wounded warriors who just arrived to the hospital, right when after they received the food, they disoriented. They don't understand what to do next. And the stage which wider society see it when the veteran is participating in the competition, when the veteran is already example. But society doesn't see who helped them, what made them achieve that. And the goal of this exhibition will be to show how people are changes. On the example of the members of our Invictus Games national team, and certain veterans who participated in the national team, they were just speaking to them as like, hi, hello, bye, hi, bye. But now we see after 2 years of competition, it's a family with whom we communicate every day. We see how people basically gain second life. And this is shown on my pictures. This is all of our projects. And what is very important is that the experience that veterans gaining during the participation in Invictus games and in Warrior games, they are ready to pass it to other veterans in their communities. We wish you all the best, and we wish all the success in your endeavors.
Я перепрошую,
I apologize.
надати слово ще одному нашому спортивному
We need to give the floor to one more sport ambassador, Serhii Kalytiuk. Serhii, sorry, Serhii.
Це називається сила ветеранів.
So it's
Коли спортивні амбасадори.
a real example of veteran power, especially when you are a sport ambassador.
Я Kalytiuk Serhii Mykolaevich,
Serhii Kalytiuk.
25-й.
I was serving as 25th Air Force Brigade. I was wounded in 2014.
Спорт як один з найважливіших.
My topic is sport as one of the best tools for bringing veterans into normal life, and how I see the development of adaptive sports in Lviv. And as Aristotle said, movement is life. Since 2014, I used that quote to explain to myself what is sport for me. And since ancient Greece, nothing changed. Without movement, person degrades. And sports was a motivator for me after I was wounded. And I saw how veterans who lost their health in combat zone were degrading. I saw a lot of such cases, and how people even losing their life after they come back from the combat zone. And we understand that these people need a lot of help when they need it most after they return to civilian life. And when we talk about the movements can be different, and everyone chooses their own paths. But for me, sport is one of the most effective ways of rehabilitation of veteran, because veteran should be brave and physically prepared to overcome any difficulties, and this allows us to be faithful to our values that we acquired in the military. I knew that I will be a military serviceman since childhood. I was going to sport. I was not abusing any substances. Yes, and when I joined contract military, and I was participating since 2014 in warfare. I received after in June 2014 I was wounded, and I received medical help in a number of hospitals, and when I was moved into wheelchair, and my rehabilitation was not easy because I didn't saw a clear picture of my future. But at the stages of the rehabilitation, of the medical rehabilitation, I was introduced to adaptive sports, one of which was table tennis, and I started my life after hospitals from that. In 2018, I was introduced to archery when I was training for Invictus games. Now I am a member of national team of Invictus in archery, in basketball on wheelchairs, and hand-driven bicycles. Yes. At this level of involvement, I have no free time for to think about the misery of life. Yeah. So, and that's the motivation that took us to pledge our country, it will drive us to next achievement in sports. In Lviv, we have issues with accessibility of sport facilities for veterans, and people of disabilities. For example, when I had to go for training in archery, somebody could have to bring me to the 5th floor by stairs. And when we're talking about making veteran sports more popular, we need to think also about making the sport facilities accessible for veterans with disabilities, and we should think about the multifunctional sports center for veterans and people with disabilities, who would introduce active lifestyle to veterans and people with disabilities. And we understand this project can be a lengthy one, and we can start our activities from very simple projects, for example, like organizing regional level competitions. We have representatives who already participate in competitions in basketball, in ball throwing, and who already participated in a number of events of Invictus games and Warrior games. And from those initial steps, we can move ahead and to more ambitious projects. And we would invite veterans from rehabilitation centers to participate in competitions and to join competitions, to become athletes, and to learn from the veterans who are now athletes. And we hope that they will be representing our country in at international competitions, and this will be an example of implementing more wider projects. Every warrior who was in ICU, he has his second birthday date, yeah, and the sport will make us move after this rebirth. And we thank you, Serhii. We wish you all the best for adding to this to our project. And here is a short inspiring video about our ambassadors.
Дякую, хлопці, вам за те, що рухаєте
Thank
спорт.
you guys for developing sport, and thank you for your decision to be sport ambassadors. We continue to the Q&A session, and all who are present in the audience, your questions, please. If no questions from the audience, I would like to pass the question from the YouTube translation. The question is to Oksana and Taras. Do you believe that project Sport Ambassadors will be successful in the regions? I think our sport ambassadors already answered to that questions after they introduced their projects. The Sport Ambassadors project already successful because they have already first achievements. I want to say the same, and all the regional projects that will be implemented by our ambassadors will develop sport and social initiatives at their communities level. I know that we saw interest from the local administrations, from projects who want to see the output, and this will inspire our regions to become active too. We want to unite around one idea. To that is veterans of war who are learning to be leaders in their communities, and by them but I'm sure they are 100 aspects talking about, and with this we will finalize our event, and we want to wish you all the best and in achieving, and hope we will end. Now I would like to invite all participants for a joint photo.